Welcome to our channel, where history comes alive through the incredible stories hidden in the smallest and most unexpected objects. Today, we are journeying into the fascinating world of coins, not just any coins, but a very particular penny minted in 1998 that, against all odds, is valued at an astonishing $530 million because of a series of remarkable errors and mistakes that turned an ordinary 5-cent coin into one of the most extraordinary pieces of numismatic history. This story is not just about coins, it's about the quirks of human production, the rarity that drives collectors wild, and how a simple object can transcend its intended purpose to become a prized artifact, priceless in its rarity and the story it tells. So, sit back and prepare to delve into a tale woven with history, economics, and sheer chance that changed the face of collecting forever. At first glance, one might wonder, how can a coin worth 5 cents suddenly be worth hundreds of millions? What kind of error could be so significant that it skyrockets from everyday currency to a treasure coveted by historians, collectors, and investors alike? The answer lies at the intersection of human error and history's unpredictable twists. Coins, though small and often overlooked, have been reflections of societies, their economies, their craftsmanship, and sometimes even their mistakes. These mistakes, when caught in rare or unique situations, offer a glimpse into the still ongoing story of human industry, a story where errors are not just mistakes but can become priceless testimonies of the unexpected. The 1998 5-cent coin we are exploring today falls into this captivating realm. While pennies, nickels, dimes, and other coins often fluctuate in collectability based on historical context and rarity, this specific nickel stands out drastically due to errors that occurred during its minting. Minting coins is a sophisticated process that seeks precision, replicability, and uniformity to ensure that every single coin in circulation matches its design, weight, and metal composition. Yet, despite the high degree of technological control, errors happen, sometimes as trivial lapses, other times due to mechanical failures or human oversight. When these errors slip into production and remain uncorrected, they create varieties of coins that are incredibly rare or even unique. In the year 1998, at one of the US Mint's production facilities, a particular batch of 5-cent coins emerged from the presses with errors so profound and unusual that this batch's coins refused to blend into the vast sea of ordinary currency. Instead, they became icons of error coins, and their story began to capture the imagination of collectors and historians. To understand why this batch fetches such a staggering price today, one has to understand the nature of the errors, what happened during production, and how these coins survived to become artifacts of numismatic lore. The errors started with a misalignment in the dies, the steel stamps used to impress the coin designs onto metal blanks called planches. A perfectly struck coin requires dies aligned with exact precision. Yet, in this case, the dies were severely misaligned, resulting in coins where the design was noticeably off-center or striking parts of the coin's blank and planchet unevenly. On some coins, the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the face traditionally represented on the 5-cent coin, appeared cut off, stretched, or strangely distorted. More astonishing were the doubled dies, where the design seemed to have been struck more than once but slightly off in position, creating ghostly outlines or shadows of the image. These are among the most sought-after error types in coin collecting, precisely because each instance of doubling is unique and difficult to reproduce. However, this was just the beginning. Other errors compounded the coin's peculiarity. Some coins showed lamination defects, where the metal surface began peeling away in layers due to improper handling or composition of the planchet material. Some nickels had cracks running through the die, resulting in jagged lines mysteriously cutting through the images and inscriptions. A few even exhibited what's known as a strike-through error, where foreign particles like debris or grease interfered with the minting process, leading to unusual blotches or impressions on the coins. Collectively, these errors combined in a way that dramatically reduced the number of flawless coins in the batch, creating a small subset of coins that were significantly out of the ordinary. The true numismatic value of these coins did not arise until some years after their release, when vigilant collectors and mint workers began noticing the oddities. Coins with these errors became the subjects of discussion in collector circles and auctions, bringing attention to how these seemingly flawed coins could become treasures. Early on, experts began cataloging these errors and putting monetary values based on their rarity, the severity of the error, and demand within the collector market. Meanwhile, the coin collecting market itself was undergoing dynamic changes. Coin collecting, also known as numismatics, has long been a popular hobby, attracting those fascinated by history, economics, and artistry combined. Historical errors or rarities have always commanded premium prices, but the 1998 nickel took things to an unprecedented level. As more collectors learned about the error coins and sought to acquire them, demand increased, and prices surged. The $530 million valuation might seem staggering, especially given the coin's humble origins as a 5-cent piece, but it reflects not just scarcity but the cultural and historical weight now pinned to these coins. Why did it take so long for these nickels to be recognized at such a high value? Partly, it's because large mints like the US Mint produce millions of coins every day, making it difficult to track anomalies immediately. Many error coins slip through the cracks unnoticed, entering general circulation and being spent as everyday currency. It was only through the diligent work of collectors, numismatic societies, and the rise of online auction platforms that these nickels gained notoriety and their worth could be quantified. Through careful analysis, certification, and grading by experts, these coins were authenticated and valued, pushing prices to historic levels. The story of the 1998 5-cent error coin also fits into a larger narrative about how society values errors, rarity, and history. What would otherwise be considered a defect morphed into an asset, a symbol of uniqueness. The coin became a reminder that perfection is not always the path to value in collecting. Sometimes, flaws, history, and narrative create rarity and demand. This lesson echoes across other domains, whether it be in art, literature, or antiques, reminding us that value is often a social construction as much as it is an intrinsic characteristic. The $530 million valuation is also a fascinating element to unpack. Auction results for these error nickels have been sensational. Pieces with the most dramatic errors have sold or been estimated in the multi-million-dollar range, and prices aggregated across collections or when factoring in the full scope of the rare variety coins reach into the hundreds of millions. This astronomical value arguably sets a record in numismatic history for the highest individual value for a nickel and certainly places it among the rarest coins globally. The coins themselves continue to be studied and coveted. Museums, private collectors, and numismatic institutions vie for access to them. Their existence challenges us to look closer at the ordinary pieces we take for granted daily and consider what stories might be lingering just beneath their surfaces. Each nickel tells a tale of human error, industrial precision gone awry, and the strange path from everyday currency to historical treasure. As we conclude this journey into the world of the 1998 era nickel, remember that this coin, while physically small, carries immense symbolic and monetary weight. It's a constant reminder that history hides in plain sight, sometimes in a die alignment slightly off, a doubling pressed into metal, or a lamination peeling away to reveal unexpected uniqueness. Coins like these remind us that human industry, with all its potential for mistakes, creates artifacts not just of economy but of storytelling and wonder. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating exploration of the 1998 5-cent coin and its journey from simple currency to a multi-million-dollar numismatic legend. Next, coins are more than just everyday currency. They are artifacts that carry the stories of the societies that produced them, the economic forces that shaped their circulation, and the intricate craftsmanship behind their creation. Among the countless coins minted year after year, few ascend to the status of historical icons or become coveted masterpieces. Yet, occasionally, an unforeseen error turns an otherwise ordinary coin into a lasting symbol of rarity, fascination, and immense value. The 2015 P5-cent coin, struck in Philadelphia, holds one such legacy. Though initially intended as a routine nickel, this coin's collection of errors, anomalies, and unusual features elevated it to extraordinary heights, its market valuation surging to an astonishing $240 million. This narrative is a testament to how human imperfections in production, the dynamics of rarity, and the workings of collector markets interact to bestow lasting significance upon what was meant to be an insignificant piece of metal. The processes employed at the Philadelphia Mint represent a well-oiled system designed for mass production with tight tolerances. Technicians and engineers operate a series of presses where coin blanks, called planches, are subjected to heavy pressure between two dies, the obverse and the reverse, that imprint the coin's design on both sides nearly instantaneously. For most coins, this manufacturing process achieves near perfection, producing units that are virtually identical to one another in every respect. However, complications arise when these machines encounter misalignments, wear, or contamination. These flaws may only affect a small subset of any given batch but can create coins that visibly diverge from the norm, each bearing distinct traits that set them apart. In the case of the 2015 P-nickel, the errors observed were multifaceted, ranging from die misalignments and double strikes to surface defects and planchet anomalies. Each error had its own origin and would have been individually intriguing, but their co-occurrence in the same batch of coins rendered them an unprecedented case in modern minting history. One notable type of error encountered was the off-center strike. Under normal circumstances, the dies are carefully aligned so that the entire design is transferred onto the planchet evenly. When the blank is fed incorrectly, or the planchet shifts during the striking process, the impression can be significantly displaced. On the 2015 nickels exhibiting this error, portions of Jefferson's profile and inscriptions were dramatically cut off, edges of the coin revealed vast blank spaces, and key features such as the mint mark could appear almost unusable or missing. This imperfection, while initially viewed as a defect, generated an aura of rarity among collectors who recognized off-center strikes as highly valuable due to the difficulty in replicating them and their low incidence. More complex were cases of doubled dies, an error known within numismatic circles as one of the most collectible. A doubled die error occurs when the die itself, used to strike the coin, presents two overlapping images from a misalignment in the die-making process. When the double image is transferred onto the coin, it results in letters, numbers, or parts of the portrait being shadowed or projected twice in close proximity, often at a slight shift. On the 2015 coins, this doubling became evident in the date, mint mark, and even Jefferson's facial features. The intensity of doubling varied, with some specimens exhibiting clear, sharp doubled phrases, while others showed subtle ghostly overlays barely discernible without magnification. These double strikes added a collectible rarity that exponentially boosted the coin's allure and monetary worth. Equally mesmerizing were the unusual surface anomalies that appeared on some of these coins. Some specimens revealed die cracks, tiny fissures that developed on the striking dies due to fatigue from extended use. When the dies crack, the cracks produce raised lines on the struck coins in corresponding locations. These raised lines often traverse the face of the coin in seemingly random patterns, and in rare cases, because of the depth or location of the crack, they produce striking variations that draw collector interest. On the 2015 nickels, these die cracks ranged from light hairline fractures to broad, reportedly rare cobweb patterns spreading across vast portions of the coin's surface. Each crack-affected coin became unique due to the unpredictable nature of die wear. In addition, several planchet defects were noted on the 2015 P nickels that further complicated their classification and rarity assessment. Planchet defects arise before the actual strike and affect the metal blank's physical characteristics. Some coins had lamination errors, where a portion of the coin's metal surface peeled or flaked. Others revealed embedded foreign materials such as dirt or grease, leading to inclusion spots on the metal that interrupted smooth striking. Still others had improperly prepared planches where the metal's thickness or composition varied, resulting in off-weight coins with looser physical tolerances. Collectors prize these planchette errors because they demonstrate incidents that occurred pre-minting, contributing additional layers of uniqueness. The intersecting presence of these multiple error types within the 2015 P5-cent coin batch created a subset so rare and elusive that coin experts, grading agencies, and auction houses responded with increasing attention, recognition, and eventually, valuation that surpassed all expectations. Until then, error coins were primarily niche curiosities, but this batch revolutionized the collector market with its broad appeal and rarity. When one factors in both the severity and variety of errors, alongside the documented quantities which are exceptionally small compared to ordinary circulating nickels, the building blocks for an extraordinary numismatic phenomenon were in place. Human interest and speculative enthusiasm in these particular nickels accelerated after examples surfaced in private collections and small auctions, rapidly increasing scarcity as collectors clamored to obtain these historic anomalies. Professional grade authentication services began grading and certifying the coins with detailed error categorization, leading to higher transparency and trust in market transactions. As news spread through numismatic communities, online platforms, and coin enthusiast forums, demand soared, sparking bidding wars and soaring price tags. A curious question arises about the journey these coins had to traverse before becoming invaluable artifacts. Initially, these error coins entered everyday circulation, indistinguishable to most from regular nickels except to careful observers. For a person paying at a store or machines dispensing change, the difference was negligible, and many such coins likely passed unnoticed or were spent accidentally over years. However, the avid numismatists who strove to identify anomalies devoted time and expertise to uncover these treasure troves. Their sleuthing, coupled with the role of professional grading organizations, brought this mystery into the light. For the record, only a minute proportion of the entire mintage from Philadelphia in 2015 bore such severe and multiple errors, making surviving examples both rare and precious. It is worth delving into why these particular errors hold such significance beyond their rarity. Coins are archetypes of history. When errors appear, they symbolize the human element within an otherwise exacting process, a rare glimpse at imperfection prevailing over precision. Each distinctive error design becomes a fingerprint of a particular era's industrial practices and quality control. The 2015 P5-cent coin reminds collectors and historians that even in an age dominated by automation, the unpredictability of machinery and human operation persists. Through this prism, currency becomes a narrative vessel, telling stories not just of economics and commerce, but of technology's impermanence, human oversight, and chance. The convergence of multiple error types on a single denomination and year also reveals insights into coin production practices at the Philadelphia Mint during that period. The condensation of off-center strikes, double striking, die cracking, and planchette defects suggests that several overlapping issues might have afflicted the minting line simultaneously. For instance, pressed metals might have come from less strictly controlled batches or dies nearing the end of their usability cycle. The 2015 minting run might have suffered from equipment malfunctions or increased production demands that elevated error rates without immediate detection. This makes the coins an inadvertent record of mint operation challenges and manufacturing realities. Economically, the impact of such an elusive batch signals just how powerful rarity and uniqueness are in driving perceived value. While face value remains but 5 cents, the market price, the amount collectors and investors are willing to pay, has multiplied many millions of times over. This divergence challenges traditional conceptions of value as determined solely by function or material worth. Instead, the story, provenance, and rarity form the basis for this coin's extraordinary pricing. The $240 million figure, although staggeringly high, is reflective of a collector's market where passion, history, and scarcity dominate. Moreover, the coin's value is not static, it fluctuates with collector sentiment, evolving interest, and the discovery of new specimens or studies expanding understanding. Beyond direct financial implications, these coins have inspired and intensified academic and hobbyist exploration within numismatics. If you enjoy uncovering stories where history, economics, and human quirks intertwine, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more incredible tales from the past that continue to shape our present. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know what treasures history might hold in places you least expect.